Good evening and welcome to Midvalley Bible Church's second virtual prayer meeting for 2021. My name is Doug Hornock and I'm the pastor at Midvalley Bible. Chances are good, if last week is any indication of what 2021 is going to be like, we are in for another challenging year. As a church, we went through with a couple what has got to be the greatest struggle any family could endure. What's more, there were the horrible events in Washington, D.C., the major division among politicians that seems to only be growing, and the list could go on and on. And so tonight, I want to share with you what I believe are the three most important words from the Bible as we leave behind 2020 and enter into 2021. Those three words aren't what you would expect, such as God is love or Christ is risen, or sins are forgiven, although all of those three statements are very encouraging. The three simple words that I've grown to celebrate, that bring encouragement and hope in the midst of all the chaos and corruption that surrounds us, are in order that. In order that. Now, why are these three words so important? Well, they're important, encouraging, and hope-filled because they remind us that for everything that has happened in 2020, both in our local church and in society, and for everything that will happen in 2021 and beyond, there is an in order that. Now, I can't tell you in every instance what that in order that is going to be. But I know with absolute certainty that nothing that happens is meaningless or purposeless. And these three words remind us that there is always a divine God glorifying purpose in everything that transpires in our life. Now, we may not always be able to discern what that is, but the scriptures assure us that there is a design in all of our distresses. All of us have struggles. All of us has gone through a trying year, trying to discern some purpose in the events that have rocked our world. We want to know if God is behind them, and if so, what is it that He is aiming to accomplish? And the truth is, we may never know what that purpose is. But as confusing, disheartening, frustrating, infuriating, depressing, and discouraging as things may be, God wants us to confidently rest in the truth that in everything there is an in order that. Now, the reason I say that is because of what the Apostle Paul wrote in 2 Corinthians 1:8. He said, "For we do not want you to be unaware, brethren, of our affliction which came to us in Asia, that we were burdened excessively beyond our strength, so that we despaired even of life. Indeed, we had the sentence of death within ourselves." Now here's the key: in order that we should not trust in ourselves, but in God who raises the dead. Let me give you a little background. Sometime between the writing of 1st and 2nd Corinthians, Paul had what he considered a singular, altogether unique brush with death that absolutely transformed his perspective on life and ministry, and more importantly, his relationship with God. Now, we're not sure what that was. Some believe that it was literally a physical confrontation with beasts in the arena of Ephesus. Some have suggested that it was a life-threatening riot that took place in Ephesus that was instigated by Demetrius the silversmith. Others see it as some kind of exposure to extraordinary persecution and peril from his enemies. It may have been a sentence of death that was passed against him by civil authorities, or possibly some unidentified hardship like extended hunger or a near-death experience during the course of his imprisonment. Paul may be describing some recurrent illness, a painfully obvious life-threatening affliction. But whatever it was, the burden was so severe as to expel all hope of survival. And whatever it was, it transformed Paul's perspective of life and the lessons that we should learn from it as well. And here's the application. Whether we face physical illness such as COVID or financial stress or relational disappointment, often it's difficult to find a purpose or a reason behind that trial. Those experiences strike us as random and senseless and lacking all value. And often the best we can do is write it off as an attack of the enemy. And we never discern the divine design to our distress. But what Paul is saying is that as overwhelmingly excessive and burdensome as his brush with death was, he knew that God was in it. And the point of it all, Paul says, was that it was given to him in order that he would not trust in himself, but in God who raised the dead. And that statement, that explicit, in order that, of verse 9, ought to forever silence those who doubt whether God is sovereign over the troubles and afflictions of life. There is always a divine design in our distress. And God so values our trust in Him that He will graciously dismantle everything else in the world that we might be tempted to rely on, even life itself if necessary. His desire is that we grow deeper and stronger in our confidence that He Himself is all we need. Now here's the application. The pandemic, the political chaos, the racial hostility, the disruptions of life, the loss of income, the pressure of trying how best to educate our children when schools are shut down, everything is in order that we might be compelled by God's grace to learn how not to rely on ourselves or anything else but God alone. Now, chances are good that you cannot discern or see God's hand in the events of life. But you know what? That's okay. Just know for sure that there is a divine design in your distress. And if nothing else, its design is in order that you and I might learn not to trust in our own resources, our own talents, wealth, or work, but in God alone. And so with that reminder before us, let's now go to prayer.